Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Additional production funding of The Spark is provided by Christian Brothers University.
This month on The Spark, our theme is the power of sound. We'll learn more about an institution that has been serving children with hearing loss and their families here in the Mid-South for more than 54 years, a commercial construction company with a heart of service and honoring the men and women who protect our freedoms and families, and a college that is working hard to train and equip artists, technicians, and business professionals for success in the music industry. Have you ever been excited by a new idea, inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way, so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders that are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. Founded in 1959 to empower deaf children to listen, learn, and talk, Memphis Oral School for the Deaf is our guest here. I'm here with Teresa Schwartz, the Executive Director, fondly known as MosD. Give us, as I said, 1959 was the year, but give us a little of the storyline for the founding of Memphis Oral School for the Deaf.
Okay, the school was begun by a family called the Taylor family. They had a son named Sam, and they had to travel to St. Louis for him to get the services he needed as a deaf child to develop speech and language. So they moved to St. Louis. He stayed in a dorm for a while, and when they came back to Memphis, they said they didn't want any other family to ever have to make that hard choice, so they started the school. Nice. Along with the help of the Exchange Club of East Memphis.
So one of the things, obviously, from an outsider's perspective that makes it very different is no sign language.
No sign language.
Talk about that. I mean, just the idea that you have trained audiologists, you have trained staff, and we'll talk about the technology that plays a vital role in this, but there's no sign language in any of the classrooms.
No, the goal is to have each of the children develop their listening skills either with a cochlear implant or a hearing aid, and then help them learn to speak in a way that can be understood by everyone and get them ready to be mainstreamed into a regular kindergarten class using no sign language and being completely independent.
And talk about the cochlear implant, because I think this is a game changer when you talk about technology.
Yeah. When I first began in this field 30 years ago, the children had to learn by feeling the vibrations of your throat and matching the shape of your lips to try to imitate speech. Now they can actually hear it with cochlear implants. Even the most profoundly deaf child can hear with that, and so it's just opened a new world for them.
Because it's actually, I mean, literally like it's kind of embedded in, and it uses the vibrations, correct?
Right, it is surgically implanted, and then there's an external part that communicates with the internal part, and they can hear.
And so that's the fascinating part, is when you walk through, you're seeing the kids, they're talking, they're singing. They
typically just go right into a regular kindergarten class and just need a little help socially to get used to a big school, but otherwise they've got phonics skills and reading skills and all those things when they leave the school, and so they're just trying to adjust socially to a big cafeteria and a big classroom of 20 children.
And that's the thing, so ages 0 to 5,
right.
And you're working with the parents, because obviously that's a very scary scenario for your son or daughter to all of a sudden be diagnosed as having a hearing impairment, right, or being deaf. And so you're working with the parents, you're giving them the skills to be able to help steer them on the right path, but also too for the kids, you're putting them through a very structured program with trained specialists.
Exactly. We have speech pathologists and audiologists and deaf educators who all are highly trained in these specific oral deaf education skills, and so within the short time frame that we have them, we're able to get things rolling so that they're talking by the time they leave here, and they're not behind their hearing peers.
Explain how, I know that most of them are referred in, correct? Talk about the referral process.
Okay, they're usually referred through their pediatrician or their ear, nose, and throat doctor, and then sometimes we just have people walk in off the street or find us on the internet, and we're able to either help them find another service that will meet their needs or help them get acclimated and get into the school.
Nice. So let's actually go ahead and show viewers when we talk about a typical day in the life at Memphis Oral School for the Deaf. Let's take a quick look.
Thanks.
Which one is the same? Here, or here, or here, or here, or here? Which one?
The wonderful thing about our school is that the children do either have hearing aids or cochlear implants, and we are an oral school. So when you come into the school, you hear what you hear in any other school. You hear children laughing and playing and talking, and most times you will not really realize that they are hearing impaired or deaf.
Usually these children are born to parents who have hearing and don't have anybody in the family with hearing loss, so it's a new experience for them.
You put it in the bucket, okay?
We see them for sessions and help the parents start learning ways to turn everyday activities into language building activities at home.
And it helps the parents to see and realize that their children are going to be okay, they're going to be fine, and they're going to be able to function and be successful in school and in life.
It's a very personal relationship with the kids because typically the same therapist follows the child at least for that school year. So you get a nice relationship with the little friends.
We help them in every way that we can. We're not only educating, but we're a family. We are a family here.
Spoon for Abrielle. Good job. This one's library. Let's come sit down at the table, please.
We just saw a little bit of a day in the life at Memphis Oral School for the Deaf. One of the things that does make you unique is very small class sizes, 4-to-1 ratio roughly. Just talk about that.
Right. Our children are, we never have more than 6 in a classroom. We'll have a teacher and an assistant with those children, and also the therapists are pulling them out. So there's typically no more than 3 in the classroom at a time. So they get a lot of individual attention.
And it's about a $50,000 cost per student, correct?
Yes, it's very expensive because of the highly trained staff that we have. But no parent ever pays $50,000. It's based on a sliding fee scale, based on their income, and then we write grants and look for corporate support to make the difference.
And that's the other thing too, is you have a golf event in the fall, you have a speakeasy gala that you guys do typically as well. So there's a number of ways to plug in, plus you have free screenings for the community, which is obviously an easy way to come out and take a tour as well. So there's a lot of fun opportunities to get engaged.
Right.
What about, when you talk about 0 to age 5, I think it's important to know that's a very critical age range for success for kids.
Right.
Talk about the importance of that age range.
Well, just the beginning of life is the most, that children are absorbing language, and so the birth to 3 is critical for language development. So getting them in, getting them fitted with the proper device for hearing, and then getting them started in a program like ours is just critical for their success.
And when you talk about success, you have a ton of great success stories. Share maybe 1 or 2 that really talks about the impact that you're having on their lives.
Okay. We have students who have gone on to medical school. I've got one that will graduate from pharmacy school this year, and then I have another young woman who is working for the cochlear implant company doing public speaking. So it's just awesome to see these children go on and have a normal adult life and achieve whatever dreams they have.
And I think that's the part is that the parents come in, the child comes in, it's a very scary moment to be diagnosed, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you've got the love and support, the embracing, and then you're putting them on this great career path and great trajectory for life success.
Exactly. So we take a baby, the parent walks around the school, they see the 2-year-olds barely talking, and then they see the 5-year-olds that won't stop talking, and it just brightens their day and gives them hope that their child can do the same thing.
Well, I absolutely love what you guys are doing in the community, so Teresa, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks so much, Jeremy.
With the theme of the power of sound, we have to talk about music, so especially Memphis music, and you're building a legacy for really tomorrow's musicians. And we're here with Ken Steorts. He's the founder of Visible Music College. You yourself were in a Christian rock band, the founder of Skillet. Explain how that that really that experience helped shape what you're doing today with Visible Music College?
Well, when I was on tour internationally, every country we went to, every city in the U.S., there's always the opening band. As we were starting our career in Skillet, there was young bands with either fantastic music and they knew it, they're kind of big ego, or sweet, wonderful little bands, teenagers, just with not very good music. And so my concept on the road was where could these people go to college to learn the academic, love music, find out about great music and Memphis music, and then professionally, how would they learn what's really happening in the industry? And the third point, really, that sort of getting through college, their faith relationship, their mentorship, discipleship, those kind of things.
And that's one of the things for you is there is a big gap, obviously, in the artistry and the music business, and it's called music business for a reason. And so one of the things that makes you very, very unique is that you're stepping in and you're working on the artistry, so you're refining the artistry piece of it, but also, too, you're teaching them the legal side, the management side, the business side, and the production side, too. So they're getting the full holistic experience.
Yes. That's one of the designs in the school, was really to have musicians, producers, and managers all together as a cohort going through school. They're learning how to do the contracts, they're learning how to talk about the money, talk about the professional side. They're learning, of course, their scales and those kind of things and applying it to the instruments, but they're in an environment which is cooperative, not competitive. We're learning how to do music together and do it well and understand the business.
And knowing the music business, that usually does not happen. I mean, usually
That's
you find
right.
out about the legal ramifications much later on,
Right.
usually when it's too late. So
That's right.
it's rare that on the front end you're actually getting that sort of knowledge. And for you, you're fully accredited, so talk about the accreditation.
Yeah, it's an accredited bachelor's degree in 3 years, so it's a very intense program. Students come from all over the country and several foreign countries every year for this specific training that's compact yet accredited and rigorous and practical.
And also, too, you're taking things like physics and you're giving it a music application.
Yeah, we have every chance we get, try to engage musicians in the academic side. So acoustical physics, the history of pop music,
Nice.
every chance we can get.
So let's show viewers a little bit of a day in the life at Visible Music College.
Visible's community is unique. By any means, it's not your average college feel. We're not a university with 30,000 plus students. We are under 150 strong. Walking through the same classes, seeing the same faces every day, not getting lost in a sea of people who you've never met before, really makes for lasting relationships and dynamics with people in your same major and in other programs in the school.
And I knew I picked the right school as soon as I walked in the doors. That's what I really desired, was to be part of something.
Visible is very effective with receiving emails, receiving needs in the community of musicians for special events or for long-term commitments, and offering those positions to students as they see fit, whether it's a church that needs a drummer or a guitar player for the next 3 months, or if it's a rock group who's looking for a front man to just cover their Friday night gig. Visible is really great about offering opportunities to us and just making this place more than a place to study, a place to get involved in the professional world as well.
So we just saw a little bit of the day in the life, I should say the performance life at Visible Music College. And you alluded earlier on to the fact that you're not just working with Memphians or here in the Mid-South, you're actually bringing them in from other countries around the world. And so one of the things that is unique is that you're immersing them in the community, and they're not just staying here for the 3 years, they're actually being retained and staying in Memphis and turning into Memphians themselves,
That's
correct?
Right. Yes, we have probably 15% Memphians, and the rest are coming. Like I said, every state, several foreign countries. Every year, probably 50% of the students that graduate stay in Memphis. They get jobs in churches and studios and some of the nonprofits around town that push Memphis music, or they're just in a band and they stay. They're out of Memphis, which is a great place to be from as a band.
Talk about the fact. How many students at this point have you worked with?
We about 450 have come through. We have 125 students a year. It's intentionally small to keep that community kind of. Everybody is their music's important, you know, and it's not just a number. But those 450 people, we send out. It's job offers. Here's somebody who's a piano player. We filled a piano position in 5 minutes last week by just an email. Somebody sent it in. Need a piano player this week. Boom.
Well, and that's where too you automatically think, you know, rock band or, you know, the artist inside, but there's so much of a career in the music business, and to that point there's so many different, whether it be the churches, symphony, all the way around, there's so much opportunity there, and to give them that foundation for success is huge. And the thing that you instill in them is it 4,000 community service hours?
Yes, they all are involved in the community of Memphis. Not being from here, they find out about Memphis, they fall in love with the music and the history and the people, and we're right in the center of downtown, so we do...
it's a beautiful complex too.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. We have a thing called City Eyes, which is really, this is their hours of service they give back to the community. They do all kinds of things from cleanup to people stuff, to play a lot of music around town, St. Jude Marathon, those kind of things. We're there on the scene bringing music alive.
And you have partnerships with other cities and other countries too, where you collaborate, correct?
Yeah, we have a emerging campus in Chicago, and we have an established campus in Germany that just some alumni. They're in the Black Forest region doing the same program, and we are getting students now from Germany coming to Memphis. And
so when you look at you being an ambassador for Memphis, I mean, this really is huge. I mean, because when you talk about, obviously Memphis has a very rich legacy in music, but you're building out the future. And to me, I think that's really special.
Well, we hope so. We love being those people who are from Memphis, and we're solid, great players, know our music, and great people, you know.
Well, I hope viewers, you get a chance to really go out there and take a look, because it's an amazing campus. They do perform all over the city. So, Ken, greatly appreciate you coming on the show, and thanks for all you do with Visible Music College.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The power of sound can be hustle and bustle, trains, planes, automobiles. It can also be a hammer hitting a nail, construction, which means growth, revitalization. And so I'm here with Joe Savage. He's the CEO of Metro Construction, a locally owned, operated, family-owned commercial construction company here in the Mid-South. And you guys do huge projects, small projects, everything in between. Give us, though, you have a unique history line in there and a unique storyline, especially being entrepreneurs yourselves and being in an entrepreneurial family. Tell us a little bit of that storyline for starting Metro Construction.
Well, Metro Construction came out of the formation of a company called Savage Brothers, which is still around today. One of my brothers runs that company and owns it. We also had a company called Savage Construction, and another brother still runs that company today. But we were all raised in a house where ongoing business was taking place every day. And on Thursday evenings in our home was payroll night. And after the evening meal was finished and cleared away, my mother and father and my uncle did payroll on the kitchen table.
You said you had people that basically show up that night for getting their check, right?
Yes, they would be sometimes lined up at the back door to get their check early. And the rule was, if you get your check early, you had to be in the morning on Friday morning at work. If not, never show up again on Thursday night.
Well, I think any entrepreneur can attest to me. That's a good story where family and business all go together.
Yeah, they do. And it was a great learning experience for us all to see how that operates and the efforts that takes.
And you've got your family now involved. I know Ryan, Katie, Matt, Jeff, all of them obviously very instrumental in Metro Construction as well, which has got to be a proud moment for a father.
It is, and I get to work with them every day.
So walk us through, I know you guys, like I said, you do big projects, small projects, everything in between. One of your proud moments was about 500,000 square feet in terms of a renovation project. Give us a little bit of a snapshot, because I think that shows the scope of work that you guys do.
Well, back in '95, Mr. Jack Bells hired us to renovate the old Goldsmiths complex downtown, and we turned that into a multi-use facility for residential, commercial, retail, And it's really been a great project for us over the years, and we've done other things of remodeling the Peabody Hotel a couple of times and some projects like that. So we've really had a good feel of downtown and some of the things that have happened there, especially with some historic buildings.
Nice. One of the things that is near and dear to my heart and yours as well, because you were the first ones to jump right in, is the Memphis Police Department Fallen Officer Memorial. So we've had 62 officers that have lost their lives in the line of duty. We're one of the few cities around the nation that doesn't have something to memorialize their service. So really with your help, I mean, you've been a critical component of this, you and your team, putting together the blueprints, the plans, everything for $1 million, 100% privately funded project to memorialize their service. What does the Memphis Police Department Fallen Officer Memorial, what does that mean to you?
I think it means a chance for us to be a part of building something that memorializes these public servants that gave the ultimate price for us all and gave their lives in the line of duty. And we're so excited to be a part of that, and we just can't wait till that project is completed and in place.
So let's go ahead and let's show viewers exactly what we're talking about. Let's learn a little bit more about the Memphis Police Department Fallen Officer Memorial.
March 2nd, 2011, we all met at Oak Court Mall, and one of the colonels at the time mentioned that they had not had a memorial built. And this has been a dream since he can remember, and that was even in the early 80s. And we were delighted to jump into both feet and take this vision from something in someone's mind to putting it on paper to actually start to develop the full memorial. What we're most proud of is the Memphis Rocks t-shirt campaign, a grassroots campaign, a civic pride campaign, if you will, for Memphians to purchase t-shirts, and 100% of the funds go to the memorial. And it's just been, it's more than a project now. This is a quest we are on to get this done and make it a gift not only to the officers themselves, but to the fallen and the ones they've left behind.
So that's the Memphis Police Department Fallen Officer Memorial. As we mentioned, 62 officers have lost their lives in the line of duty. It's a $1 million, 100% privately funded project, which you and Metro Construction have really been not only on the blueprints, helping with the fundraising, everything, even helping us launch the Memphis Rocks campaign, where you've got these t-shirts that are raising 100% of the proceeds for these t-shirts are going to the Fallen Officer Memorial, over $100,000 so far. And really it's been $20 donations, which is amazing because that's the public getting involved and activating it, which is what we want, to be able to say thanks. On that same thread of public service, you guys were a big part of the Fire Museum of Memphis, doing the renovation, creating that. Talk about how, and I just love the public service thread in there, but talk about your experience with the Fire Museum of Memphis.
Well, the Fire Museum was a project where we took over the old mothballed downtown firehouse. And it was really interesting to open up that old place and do our renovations where we weren't really trying to make things new, we were just trying to make things functional and usable again. The exhibits came to life and the place is just a wonderful place to be. Absolutely. But of course the magical part of the place is the memorial wall that was erected on the new building that's the exhibit hall next to the old Fire Museum. And that's quite a story of how that all came together and how it exists today, and even has unfortunately room for additional names, but it's a place for when someone does lose their life as a firefighter, they can be added to the memorial wall.
Was that something that they came to you with that idea, or did you go to them, or was it a collaborative process, or did you look at other cities? When you talk about this wall, which is absolutely amazing, and it really does, I mean, for those that are, I think we as the public often lose sight that, that's where they go if they lose a teammate, if they lose a comrade, that's the place they go, that's where the families go. For them, that's almost sacred ground.
That was pulled together from the exhibits people who had some experience with other type of memorials around the country. They brought that idea into play. Gotcha. And then getting that, we were a big part of having that fabricated, that three-dimensional brick relief of that wall, and then we had to build a building to put it on. Sure. And so we worked closely with the architects and the designers to make that thing come to life. And it's really quite a interactive type of exhibit that you can see at any time. Absolutely. Walking downtown.
It's amazing. One of the other things I know that's near and dear to your heart, and also your wife's and your family's, is multiple sclerosis and the Multiple Sclerosis Society. Share a little bit about just your involvement with that.
Well, over the years, we've been a big part of the MS Society, and my wife suffers with MS, and she's always wanted to be a part of it in the sense of helping people understand what MS is, education. But every year they have a big luncheon called WAMS, Women Against MS, and she hosts a couple of large tables every year with her friends and family, and they bring inspirational speakers and they talk about MS, and it's a time for people with MS to maybe get a little extra hope in their life and be updated on the progress they're making every day with the treatments for MS.
Nice. Well, I greatly appreciate not only everything you do on the construction side to beautify our city and to move us forward on that front, but also to everything that you do in the community. So thank you, Joe, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Sometimes we take it for granted, but the power of sound is manyfold. It's the voice of your parents or teachers encouraging you to succeed, the sweet voice of your son or daughter proudly singing you a song that they learned at school, or someone from a different country trying to connect. It's the music that moves our emotions and creates memories while affording musicians a chance to follow their dreams and pursue a career. It's also the sound of hustle and bustle, of growing business and revitalization like cars and trains and airplanes and hammers hitting nails. The key, though, is to use our two ears to stop and listen. Learn and experience so we can appreciate and grow. Thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests and to interact with your stories of others leading by example, visit thesparktv.org. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll join with us in creating a spark for the Mid-South.
Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.